All right. Still not a lot of room to come in from the side. Look, I'm Ken. I make mistakes. We're gonna talk about some stuff. Well, I did this last time. Do I have to do this every time? Like tell you who I am, why I'm here? I probably do. Might be the first time I watch one of these. All right. Boy. Hello again. So, I think my chair is actually made out of squeaks. The last video that I did was kind of cheating. I didn't actually make that project for the video. I made a video about a project I'd already done. This time, I'm not cheating you. No. I decided I was going to do a project for a video, and from the beginning, I've documented every step of the way. Now I'm going to walk you through how I got there. First things first, let's start off with the concept. I love this ring box. This is a really awesome wood ring box that I picked up at some sort of art festival, I think in maybe about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, somewhere around then, because I'm old. Never forget, I'm not young. But this thing is pretty darn cool. So it's made out of a single piece of really awesome, like, burled wood. I think burled, is that what you call it? Burled? Pokey? It's got some going on. And I think it looks awesome. This is really, really cool. Now, I know that I'm not going to be able to replicate this exactly in a 3D design, but I want to take inspiration from this and create something in the ballpark, create sort of a send-up on this general idea. So that's going to be the focus of today's video, and I'm going to take you through from the beginning. So we're going to start off in the design phase, which starts off for me in 123D Design by Autodesk. So in 123D Design, I started off by creating a hemisphere. I then edited the dimensions on this hemisphere in order to create a much shallower shape. From this point, I created a sketch that I could use to sort of split the geometry of this shape and create a more natural looking shape. There aren't a whole lot of things in nature that are so perfectly rounded off as this flattened out hemisphere. So this shape I used to go ahead and split off some chunks from the front and back, and I delete those off of there. I take that same sketch, rotate it 90 degrees, scale it up, and I can use that to make some cuts off of the face of this as well. At the end of that, I've got a pretty good looking shape, but I need to increase the height. It's a little short, so I size it up by just straight scaling it. I created another sketch that I could use to cut out the ring drawer section as well, the inner section of this. Once I had that cut out, I brought it forward so I could work with it separately, and I drilled out the inner part with a simple cylinder shape that's been stretched out a little bit in order to fit that space as best possible. I then also reduced the dimensions externally on this in order to create a little bit more clearance so I can get it slide in and out. And then I got to work on creating a bottom base. So if I were to design mine without a bottom on there, without some sort of lip, it was just going to allow that drawer to fall straight out when you pick it up. That's not what I was going for. So I add a little base along the bottom, and bada bing, bada boom, I am done. Design phase complete. Time to start manufacturing. I'm going to let my Matter Hacker's Pulse printer go at this thing with a little bit of some 3D Warhorse wood filament. So when I pull the build plate off the printer, I notice that there's a bit of stringing. It's actually a lot. So I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to clean up the majority of this stringing. And now let's see if it fits together. And it does not. The smart thing to do at this point would be to say, oh, it doesn't fit. Let me redesign it and reprint it. It'll only take me an hour, hour and a half to reprint that drawer with a little bit better clearance. That's not what I did. Instead, I grabbed a rotary tool, a file, I grabbed some sandpaper. Look, the rotary tool was really the crazy part. Look at me going to town on this thing. Look at me go. What are you doing, guy? Like, what are you doing? This is what a crazy person would do. You printed this. It's not like it's a one of a kind, like a family heirloom. Why are you working so hard to save it? Move on. All right, so after all of that, I did decide to go ahead and move on. I reprinted that little drawer again, and here we go. What do you know? By increasing the tolerance here, by reducing the dimensions by another 0.5 millimeter all around, it's a perfect fit. Slides in, slides out. Fantastic. Now that it's printed out and cleaned up, I want to try some finishing techniques. One that I want to try in particular is something I've used before in the past pretty successfully. I'll show you a picture of a thing that I've done, and it might even show up right here if I know what I'm doing. There's no guarantees that I do. I did then, though. Look at that thing. Oh. So this is a Magic the Gathering deck box that I made a while back, and I used some wood filament for this as well. I used a combination of a couple of different techniques, mainly involving some stain as a base coat, and then I came back over it with some watered-down acrylic paints. So let's try instead, just starting off with a brown acrylic paint, dilute it heavily in water, lay that down as a base coat. Come back afterwards with that same brown acrylic paint. This time, I'm going to use a dry brush technique to throw on a little bit more character. So I did all that stuff. I did all the things I said I was going to do. And what I got out of it, it's not what I thought I was going to get. It kind of looks, it's got poop stains. You know, like poo, like poo from a butt. It looks like it's covered in poo from, I don't like it. It's not good. Like, you can see that, like, there are some areas where I feel like I was close to getting that subtle touch with the dry brush that I really wanted. And there are some areas where, I mean, it's clear that I'm just kind of painting on little stripes and touches, and I don't like it. There's also very clear marks on here from where I came over it with the rotary tool, because I didn't just hit the little drawer. I also hit the main piece, and I didn't reprint that. So let's try again. I'm just going to go ahead and reprint it. When it's done, I'm going to try a different technique. I'm going to use some Varathane Ebony Premium Wood Stain. Now, at this point, the smart thing to do is probably to stop here. But this is the internet, and I make things, which means I love resin. Let's coat this thing in resin. So I'm going to grab myself some Smooth On XTC 3D, mix it up, slather it on this thing, and see how it looks. I'm going to take this old sponge, just rip it to pieces with my bare hands, and use that to paint on the resin. Okay, so stained, resined. How's it look, you ask? Well, I guess that depends on your opinion of this. And mine is indifferent. I don't know if I like the high gloss that I got from putting on this resin. I like the way the stain looks under there, especially like this line going across here, how that ebony stain settled in there. I like this area over here. We can see that it definitely wiped off a little more and it's a little thinner, some cool color variation and gradation showing on here. But, first thing there, did you hear that? It's still sticky. It's been 2 days, it's still sticky. Do you know why it's still sticky? Because I did a terrible job of measuring and mixing it up. There's not enough hardener in here. So it's not fully cured, and it will never be. That's one problem. But the other one is, I just don't like... I don't like it with the resin. So I'll tell you what I did. I printed it again. That's right, again. This is the 3rd time that I printed it in full. The 4th time that I printed a piece from this thing. I cleaned it up. I did the same things you've already seen. And then I came back and I stained it. And at this time, I stopped at the stain. And what I got is exactly what I wanted. I've got all the parts I love about that stain, where I've got some, look at that. And obviously you can tell that things slide together like they should and slide out like they should. But I've got some really cool look to it here, where there's obviously some areas where that stain didn't stick, where I wiped it right off, and some areas where it really did stick. It looks pretty cool. It is also able to hold rings like, let's put mine in. I don't know why I need to show you that it's capable of holding a ring, like, you know. Of course it can. Actually, it can probably hold all of my rings very easily.
I mean, yeah, duh.
All right, so that brings me to the end. I started off with inspiration. I ended up with a brand new thing. I like it. I made some missteps along the way. In particular, you probably saw, it's my finishing. I had a couple of ideas. They didn't go super well.
I think that's pretty obvious.
And I'll see you next time. Jeez, that was silly. Should I still fix the outro? Probably.